Everyone. In the last class, we discussed about the elastic rebound theory, and also we discussed about the theory of continental crust. Right. So today in this lecture, we will be discussing a little bit about the uh, theory of plate tectonics. Okay, I'll rather cover the theory of plate tectonics. Okay. So what is theory of plate tectonics, or rather, if you say what is plate tectonics? Okay. So what happens is that your earth crust, okay, is made of evenly shaped slabs. Okay, so the it is composed of slabs that are evenly shaped. Okay, and they move. Okay, they move on the earth's crust. Okay, and that is called as your tectonic activity. Okay, and those plates are called as tectonic plates. Okay, now those movement of those slabs, okay, on the surface of the earth is because of reasons. Okay, there are some reasons because of which they move. Okay, and what type of movement? Okay, so there are three types of movements and three types of boundaries that are formed, okay, because of those activities. So we'll be discussing those things in this lecture. Okay, without any delay, we start with the lecture. So before going into details about the theory of plate tectonics, we must know the structure of our earth. Okay, so I think you all know this. Okay, so at the centermost point we have the core. Okay, so earth crust is divided into three mainly. Okay, crust, mantle and core. Okay, I think you all know this. Okay, crust, so it's divided into crust, your mantle and your core. Okay, and similarly you see density also. Okay, so density is ascending, that means in crust the crust is having the least density. Okay, then mantle is the intermediate, having intermediate density, and the most dense of this tree is the core. Okay, so this is divided like that. But now again you can see that your core is again further divided into two. Okay, so one is your outer core and one is the inner core. Inner core is the innermost portion of the earth. Okay, that is directly with the center of the earth. Okay, so that is the innermost, and it is very hot. Okay, the most hottest part in the earth's crust, oh sorry, not in the earth's crust, in the total entire structure of the earth is the inner core. Okay, and generally it's liquid form. All right, gases. Okay, and some solids can also be there. Okay, so that is what your core, inner core is. Then you go to the outer core. Okay, so in this diagram you can see this is given the kilometers in which the these cores are. Okay, the kilometers, you can see that 5155 kilometers. Okay, then again up to 2900 kilometers you are seeing the mantle. Okay, and also just remember inner core is the centermost point of the earth and is composed of nickel and iron. Okay, the inner core is composed of nickel and iron. All right, and then we go to the mantle. So there are mantle can also be divided into two. Okay, that is lower mantle and upper mantle. Okay, mantle can be divided into two. It is lower mantle and upper mantle. Okay, and then and then you have the crust. Okay, so crust is again divided into two. Okay, one is continental crust and one is oceanic crust. Okay, continental and oceanic. So for our case, we are most, or we are mainly focused on the upper mantle. Okay, so upper mantle is the most important part in this topic. Okay, and in the upper mantle, lithosphere and mainly the asthenosphere is very important. Okay, lithosphere and asthenosphere. Again in the crust part, the continental crust and oceanic crust. So what is a continental crust? Continental crust is the part of the earth which is covered by the land. Okay, so whenever you see a land, okay, piece of land that is above the continental crust. Okay, so continental crust is covering the land mass, and all the oceans that are present in the earth, and the surface on which the oceans are there. Okay, so that part is called as the oceanic crust. Okay, so the crust, the earth's surface which is carrying the oceans is called as oceanic crust, and the surface on the earth's surface which is having the land mass is called as the continental crust. Okay, so or whenever you see a land, so that is above a continental crust. Okay, and whenever you see ocean, so that is above a oceanic crust. Okay, all right. So we move on to the next topic. So that is a plate tectonics. Okay, now see what happens. Okay, so there are various activities which goes on, okay, inside the surface of the earth. Okay, so if I have to explain, just a moment. Yeah, okay, see here you have inner core. Okay, let me change the color. See, you have here inner core. Okay, temperature is very high. Okay, the temperature of inner core is very high. It is around your 5700 Kelvin. Okay, temperature of inner core is around 5700 Kelvin. Okay, or you can say approximately. Okay, it's approximately around 5430 degrees Celsius. Okay, so as you move up, what happens, the temperature goes on decreasing. So at the surface of the earth, temperature is very less. Okay, is very less, so that very less as compared to the inner core. Okay, so that is evident. You can walk on the surface of the earth, but you will not be able to walk on the inner core. All right, so that is I think known to everyone. Okay, so now what happens is that because of this difference in temperature, okay, because of this difference in temperature, there is a difference, right? So because of this difference in temperature, what happens is that there is a formation of convection cell. Okay, so there is a huge temperature gradient. Okay, so there is a huge temperature gradient. Okay, so because of that temperature gradient, so there is a formation of convection cells. So now when you studied in your physics, okay, earlier in your under school physics, what is convection? Okay, so convection is transfer of heat by movement of liquid or gas between areas of different temperature, right? So convection is the transfer of heat, okay, by liquid or gas between areas of different temperature. Okay, so as warm air is less dense than cold air, so because of convection, current can form the presence of temperature gradient. Okay, so therefore temperature gradient can be formed because of that. Okay, so now because of this temperature gradient, okay, so because of the temperature gradient, okay, so there is a, I'll write it here, there is a temperature gradient. So because of this temperature gradient, convection cells are formed. Okay, so convection cells are formed where? They are formed in the asthenosphere. Okay, so that is why I told you that asthenosphere and lithosphere is very important. Okay, upper mantle. So convection cells are formed in the asthenosphere. So what happens is that hot air is there, or hot temperature is present at the bottom of the at the inner core. Okay, so now as you go up, the temperature decreases. Okay, so because of which what happens, your convection cells are formed. Okay, the convection cells bring heat from the earth's interior. Okay, so they are bringing out heat from the earth's interior due to and they move fairly slowly. Okay, so movement is about 10 centimeters a year. So they bring out the heat from the earth's interior. Okay, and when they go up, okay, when the convection cells rises, okay, they reach the base of the lithosphere. Okay, generally they are present in the asthenosphere. Okay, asthenosphere is at the base of the lithosphere. Okay, and they release the heat to the surface. Okay, and they release the heat. Okay, so what happens is that, see, now they are rising, okay, very slowly, and they will reach the asthenosphere, that is the base of the lithosphere, and suddenly they will start releasing the heat. Now what happens, asthenosphere is molten. Okay, so it is molten, it is always flowing. Okay, it is fluid. Alright, magma is present in the asthenosphere. So what happens, convection cells are formed. Now because of these convection cells, okay, because of formation of these convection cells, here Earth's crust moves. Okay, so because of the formation of convection cells in the asthenosphere, okay, the movement of tectonic plates take place, or the movement of oceanic and the continental crust takes place. Now this movement is dependent on the way the convection cells is releasing the heat. Okay, on the way the convection cells is acting. Okay, on the way there is activity going on. Now by that what I mean is that, you see in the diagram, let's say this is a convection cell, this is a convection cell. See their direction. Okay, so their direction, this is going this side and this is going this side, so their direction is opposite. Okay, their direction is opposite to each other. So because of this opposite direction, okay, they are moving opposite to each other. Okay, so what is happening is that, since they are moving opposite direction, so they will create a force, okay, within the crust. Okay, so now what is happening, so this cell is moving this side, this cell is moving this side. Okay, so since their movement is opposite direction, so what will happen to the crust that is present just above this layer of asthenosphere? So the crust, so what they will do, they will exert a pressure to the crust in such a way that the crust also moves in opposite direction. Okay, so the crust is will move in opposite direction. Okay, now same example, let's say this is one convection cell, and let's say there is one more convection cell here. Okay, so this is, you can see this arrow. Okay, so there is one more convection cell here, so this is moving this side. Now let's say okay, okay, sorry, you just take that. So let's say there is a convection cell. Okay, there is a convection cell which is moving this side. Okay, so this is the convection cell, the direction is this side. Okay, direction is this side. Let's say there is again one convection cell, okay, which is moving this side. Okay, you see the arrow, you see the red arrow. Let me show you by the red arrow. So see, this is moving this side and this convection cell is moving this side. Okay, earlier what was the case, they were moving away. Okay, now what is happening, they are coming towards each other. Okay, so in this case what will happen, they will also exert a force on the crust which will bring the crust towards each other, because since the convection cells are moving towards each other, so they will also force the crust to move towards each other, or the plates to move towards each other. Okay, alright, I hope you are understanding. If the convection cells are moving opposite, so in this first convection cell they are moving opposite, so what is happening, the plates are also moving opposite. Okay, so they are diverging the plates. Okay, so their plates are moving in opposite direction, but when the convection cell, they are moving towards each other. Okay, so this cell, it is moving this side. Okay, this is moving this side, so they are moving towards each other. Okay, in this case the Earth's crust will also move towards each other. Okay, now because of this activity, because of these activities and the movement of the convection cells, various plate boundaries are formed. Okay, so what are plate boundaries? So plate boundaries are the edges, okay, where two plates meet. Okay, so I think this is clear. Okay, so I'll move to the plate boundaries then after this. Okay. Okay, so because of this movement of the convection cells, you are forming some plate boundaries. Okay, you are forming some plate boundaries. Now what are plate boundaries? You can note it down. Okay, plate boundaries are the edges where two plates meet. Okay, so because of this movement, okay, because of this movement of the convection cells, okay, they are also moving the plates either away from each other or towards each other. Okay, and in doing so some boundaries are formed. Okay, and those boundaries are called as plate boundaries. Okay, and they are formed at the edges where two plates meet. Okay, they are formed at the edges where two plates meet. Now there are three types of boundaries. Okay, and one thing to note here, that at the plate boundaries, okay, at the plate boundaries, your most geological activities takes place. Okay, most geological activities takes place. Most geological activities means like volcanic eruption, earthquakes, they take place at the plate boundaries. Okay, so there are three types of plate boundaries. First is your divergent plate boundary. Divergent plate boundary. Second is your convergent. Second is your convergent plate boundary. Convergent plate boundary, and third is your transform plate boundary. Okay, so third is your transform plate boundary. So what is divergent plate boundary? Divergent plate boundary is that plate boundary in which two plates move away from each other. Okay, so the two plates will move away from each other in divergent boundary. Okay, so what is convergent boundary? Then convergent boundary in which two plates will move towards each other. So this here two plates will move away from each other. Okay, here two plates will move towards each other. Okay, and transform boundary is two plates slide past each other. So there will be sliding action. Okay, the plates will slide against each other. Okay, so these are the three types of boundaries that are being formed. Okay, so for example, let's say these are the two plates. So in divergent boundary, what will happen is that these two plates will move. Okay, so this plate will move this side, and this plate will move, the red plate will move the other side. Okay, so in convergent boundary, what will happen? So let's say these are the two plates. So in convergent boundary, these will move towards each other. Okay, and what will happen to the transform? So in transform boundary, let's say this is one plate, and let's say there is again one more plate. So in transform boundary, what will happen? The plate will slide against each other. Okay, so the movement will be sliding movement. All right. Okay, so moving to the next slide. So first is we're discussing about now one by one in details. Okay, so first plate boundary is your divergent plate boundary. Okay, so see what is happening. This is your divergent plate boundary. Okay, okay, so when plates move apart, okay, the divergent boundary, see most important thing is that in the divergent boundary, okay, they are mostly takes place in the oceanic crust. Okay, your divergent boundary mostly takes place in oceanic crust. Okay, and this means they are moving away. Okay, that means generally this type of boundary or this type of boundary is present in the oceanic crust. Okay, in the oceanic crust you will observe your divergent boundaries mostly. Okay, not always but mostly. And when plates move apart, okay, at your when the oceanic plates move apart, new sea floor forms. Okay, so new sea floor, they are getting formed when the oceanic plates move apart. Okay, when they are moving away, so between two plates a rift valley is also formed where lava flows. Okay, and so these things are, you can refer your notes. I think I have given you about this what is the divergent plate boundary, but here the most important thing to know is that the plates will move away from each other. Okay, the plates will move away from each other. For example, let's say you have two continental crusts. Okay, so these continental crusts, what is happening, they are moving away from each other. Okay, and because of this movement a rift valley is formed. Okay, also sometimes what may happen is that, and here you can observe volcanic. Okay, so this will lead to formation of volcanic islands. Okay, so volcanic islands can be formed. Okay, how? Let's say if there is volcano beneath this. Okay, let's say in one more another example, what happens, there is some hot molten magma here. Okay, so these two plates are undergoing a divergent plate boundary. Okay, so since they are moving away from each other, so what is happening, a rift valley is getting formed. Okay, and there is a small ridge. Okay, small ridge is getting formed. Okay, so what will happen, through that ridge your hot magma can come out from the surface of the earth. Inside the earth they can come out. Okay, sorry, from inside the earth the hot magma can come out to the surface of the earth. Okay, and because of which you can develop oceanic ridges. Okay, if there is ocean you will have oceanic ridges or formation of new lands. Okay, formation of new lands can be formed, and that is your generally of igneous form. Okay, because it's formed because from the magma. Okay, so it will be it will be of igneous origin. Okay, the nature will be igneous rocks will be formed. Okay, so that can also take place on when there is two oceanic floor. When two oceanic floors are going or undergoing or having a divergent boundary. Okay, they are moving away from each other, so there also you can see one rift valley is formed. Then generally this is called as mid oceanic ridge. Okay, mid oceanic ridge. Okay, so this type of boundary, generally divergent boundary, is common in your oceanic plates. Okay, sometimes they can happen in your this continental crust also. Okay, all right. Earthquakes, now earthquakes are very common. So mid oceanic ridge, so when two oceanic plates they are moving away from each other, mid oceanic ridge is formed, or the rift valley that is formed because of that is called as mid oceanic ridge. Okay, through this your magma can come out. Okay, magma can come out, and you can see formation of new landmass. Okay, there will be a formation of new landmass, and that earthquakes will be very common. Okay, and in that mid oceanic ridge earthquakes will be very common. Okay, since the movement of magma and oceanic crust results in crustal shaking. So because of movement of the magma, okay, and the movement of the oceanic crust will result in the shaking. Okay, and hence your earthquake is very common. And if there is earthquake in between a sea or an ocean, obviously there can be triggering of a tsunami also. Okay, so this is your divergent boundary. Okay, so we move to the next is your convergent boundary. Okay, so the second is your convergent boundary. Okay, I think you are by now you know what's the convergent boundary, that two plates will be moving towards each other, okay, and they will collide. Two plates will be moving towards each other and they will collide. Okay, so that is your convergent boundary. Now one plate, what happens? See, now since two plates, for example, I am showing like this. Okay, so this is one plate, black, and you will see one more plate, this is blue. Okay, so they will be moving towards each other, right? So what happens is that a time will come when they will collide. Okay, a time will come when they will collide. So what will happen when they will collide? Okay, see, one plate will eventually slide beneath. Okay, so since they will collide, so what will happen if I draw in the next diagram? So what may happen is that so what may happen is that one plate may subside. Okay, sorry, not subside. One plate will move. Okay, it will slide beneath the other plate. Okay, so this is possible. Okay, when the two plates collide, this is possible. Okay, and because of this, this is called as your subduction. Okay, this is called as subduction. So what is subduction? When one plate collides, or one plate when one plate slide beneath the other plate. Okay, and this process is called as subduction. When one plate slide beneath the other plate, this is called as subduction. So in convergent boundary, subduction can be observed very often. Okay, you can see, you can observe subduction. Okay, it is bound to happen. Okay, okay, now, so there are three types. Okay, there are three types or three ways in which convergent plates collide. Okay, three ways in which convergent plates collide. Okay, first is when an oceanic plate collides with a continental plate. Okay, oceanic and continental. Second can be oceanic colliding with oceanic plate, and third is continental plate colliding with continental plate. Okay, so these three condition can take place. Okay, so first let's say see with the oceanic and continental. Okay, so what happens when your oceanic plate collides with a continental plate? Okay, so when oceanic crust given here converges with continental crust, denser, okay, so the denser oceanic plate will plunge beneath. Okay, there will be subduction and the oceanic plate will slide beneath the continental plate. Okay, so this is oceanic crust. Okay, so this is supported by the oceanic plate. Okay, so oceanic plate will subduct. Okay, and the beneath the continental crust. All right, and this will result in the formation of volcanic arcs. Okay, this process is called as subduction, occurs at oceanic trenches, so the entire region is called a subduction zone, and this will result in the formation of your volcanic arcs. Okay, okay, so some volcanic arcs will form. Okay, so this will be small mountain type in your landmass that will be formed because of this. Okay, see, when two plates are colliding, okay, so this plate is striking against each other, so because of this strike and because of stresses develop, so your rupture on the surface of the earth will take place. Okay, so this rupture can be seen in the form of this small volcanic arcs, okay, through which your molten magma can come out. All right, you can see molten magma can come out. All right, so this is what happens when your oceanic and continental crust strikes against each other. Okay, and this in the subduction zone, this is in the zone in which this plate is sliding beneath the continental plate at this line. Okay, there will be intense earthquake. Okay, intense earthquake and volcanic eruption. You can see volcanic eruption will obviously take place, and in this zone there will be intense earthquakes. Okay, so this is the common feature of this type of convergent boundary, where an oceanic plate converges with a continental plate. Okay, so the next is when two oceanic plates converge. Okay, when two oceanic plates converge. So when two oceanic plates converge, the older out of the two will subduct or will slide beneath the newer one. Okay, all right. Okay, so this will result in the formation of island arcs. Okay, this will result in the formation of island arcs. Okay, one best example of this is your formation of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay, your formation of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay, so how your Andaman and Nicobar Islands are formed? They are formed when two oceanic plates collided. Okay, sometime back when two oceanic plates collided, that resulted in the formation of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay, in this case, in the case of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, your Indian Australian oceanic plate and your Eurasian oceanic Eurasian plate. Okay, so they just a moment. Okay, so you can get your island arcs. Okay, so when two oceanic plates are when two plates are colliding with each other. Okay, so moving to the next, the last type, that is your continental convergence. Okay, so when two continents, or sorry, when two continental crust collides with each other, there can be a formation of a mountain range. Okay, so for example, if one continental crust is moving this side, one continental crust is moving this side, and they are coming towards each other, so that will lead to a formation of mountain range. Okay, so this is relevant when two continental plates collide. Okay, for example, you can see your Himalayas. Okay, so Himalayas are formed when the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate. Okay, so Indian plate collided with Eurasian plate. Okay, so that led to the this led to the formation of your Himalayas. Okay, but what thing is that the movement is not once it collides. Okay, it does not stop. Okay, so this movement will continue. Okay, since this is not, you cannot end the process of tectonic activity. Okay, so this movement will continue. So what that implies is that your Himalayas are getting taller and taller. Okay, so per each year, and this there is a rise. Okay, there is a rise in the height of your Himalayan mountain ranges. Okay, so this is because of this continent to continental convergence. Okay, or collision. Okay, so formation of your Himalayan mountain range because of collision of Indian and Eurasian plate. Okay, so these are the three different types. Okay, of your convergent boundaries. Okay, so the last one is your transform boundary. Okay, so what's a transform boundary? So it is formed because, or a transform boundary are formed or taking place when two plates are moving past each other in opposite direction and they are sliding. Okay, so they are sliding against each other. Okay, and that the boundary that is formed because of this movement is called as your transform boundary. Okay, it's called as a transform boundary, and they take place false. Okay, whenever you will see false, okay, at false this will take place. Okay, or rather you can observe this transform boundaries at false or transform false. You can observe this type of boundaries. Okay, examples, best example of this transform boundary will be your San Andreas fault. Okay, example will be your San Andreas fault in California. Is a best example of this. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So we move, so again we revise what we have studied. So summary, see, these are the three types: divergent, convergent, transforms. The motion. Okay, so motion here is spreading. Okay, obviously they are going away from each other, so they are spreading. Here is subduction. Okay, I told you one plate is sliding beneath the other plate, so subduction is taking place, and here is sliding. Okay, lateral sliding. Okay, the sliding is taking place. What is the effect? Effective constructive, that means, see, when these two plates are going away from each other, so a ridge is created, and through that ridge your molten magma comes out, and this magma will form a new layer of surface. Okay, so here effect is constructive. Okay, you are forming new landmass in your divergent boundary. Okay, at divergent boundary you are forming new landmass, though the type of rock of that landmass will be your igneous rock. Okay, because of hot molten magma, but then you are forming new landmass. Okay, in your convergent ones, okay, you are destroying. Okay, there is destructive effect. Okay, that means they, see, when they are colliding, obviously what is happening, the overall size of these plates are getting reduced. Okay, because they are colliding and they are increasing in height. Okay, so when two plates collide, what will happen? They will collide and they will result in formation of mountain ranges. Okay, or island arcs or volcanic arcs, because of which what is happening, overall size of the land mass is getting reduced. Okay, so the effect is destructive. Okay, and third, for this transform, it is conservative. Okay, so that means neither mass is created nor destroyed. Okay, so no landmass is destroyed, or it is neither it is destroyed nor it is created. Okay, so there is, it is conservative effect. Okay, having conservative effect. So what happens to the topography? Okay, ridge is formed already in divergent. In case of convergent, trench, or you can say it's mountain ranges. Okay, mountain ranges are formed. Okay, in convergent, and in the case of transform there is no effect. Okay, volcanic activity, yes, there is volcanic activity, there is earthquake also. In case of divergent there is volcanic activity and there is earthquake in case of convergent, and there is no volcanic activity in case of transform, but there will be earthquake. Okay, so there will be earthquakes, there will not be any volcanic activity. Divergent and convergent boundary will have both volcanic and earthquake, but transform boundary will not have volcanic activity, but earthquake is very common. Okay, so this was the today's class regarding the theory of plate tectonics. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. If you have any doubts, obviously you can contact me via the concerned group. Okay, so the next class we will go towards the seismic waves. Okay, the types of seismic waves, what are the different types of seismic waves, and we'll study little bit about the movement, okay, the way they are moving. Okay, so with that said, I hope this is clear to you. Okay, thank you and have a great day.